Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Citizen Sleeper 2. We have recently arrived in Wellspring, which is where Seraphin is looking for his long-lost sister. What are we doing? We are... I don't remember exactly what we're doing here for ourselves, but we're going to explore, we're going to see some stuff. Hopefully there's some contracts to do. I have a glitched dice. I'm not quite sure why, unless that's linked to the sort of weird sort of transformation thing our character's undergoing. But yeah, let's start off with in the Wellspring Cut anyway. So what do we got here? In the Cut, dirty, wet and thriving. The Cut is a layered industrial city that is as intimidating as its inhabitants. Now we could either act like a local, we're very bad at engage, we lack social skills, so we probably won't be doing that. But hack Lotic comms. Sure, you could wonder, but the Lotic Syndicate runs this place. Surely you can learn everything you need to know by tuning into their chatter. We're going to do that. I've got a couple of high rolls here. In fact, I'll probably put all 4 of these dice in. I mean, we may not need to, depending on, the results we get. But let's see. +3. In fact, this 5 should see that get finished then. You have a good sense of which passages to wander and which to avoid in this steaming vertical city. Bliss. Amazing to think that this place supplies most of the belt's water. Bliss looks across the cutwater at the workers in their distinctive yellow gear. No wonder the syndicate runs it like a corporation. You look at those gathered in the low-ceilinged bar, gathered around cushioned couches and low magnetic tables, their voices bouncing off the metal walls. All of them wear Lotic clothing, a mark of their status as contractors for the belt's most powerful syndicate. At the far side of the bar, you spot Yu Jin, perched at a magnetic table with a bunch of miners. He appears to be playing some kind of local dice game, although, given the amount of alcohol involved, it's hard to tell if gambling or drinking is the focus. You look back to Bliss, who is watching another group, quietly discussing something serious in the opposite corner. I don't like it. Bliss turns back to the bar and sips their drink through its metal straw. The contractors seem happy right now. They glance at you. Though people usually are when their shift's done for the day. I've been looking around Chasm Row, searching out components in the markets. Down there, people don't seem so happy. Bliss meets your eye. There's a lot of talk of contracts. It seems Lotic's been locking down its workers, giving the war in the inner system as an excuse. They play with the metal straw, swirling the orbs of liquid in their sealed glass. The pressure is building, Sleeper. We shouldn't hang around here much longer. They sigh. Problem is, we have no pilot. Well? Bliss raises an eyebrow. Sounds like I'm not the only outsider who's been hanging out in Chasm Row. I heard someone complaining about a rude young man asking too many questions. Bliss smiles. Who else could that be? They laugh. That's the place to start if you want to find our boy. They said he was asking about the rye market, but I've no idea what that is. Bliss looks out across the bar. Definitely a touchy subject for locals, though. I'm not in a rush. Me neither. Bliss swirls their straw. Drinks here are pretty good. But something's coming. Trust me on that. You leave the cutwater, shouldering your way through a crowd of boisterous contractors. There is a conspiratorial mood to the conversations now that Bliss has mentioned it, and you wonder what all the talk is about. You hear a bellowing laugh from Yu Jin as you slip out the door. Better leave him to it. You feel a sudden cold as you leave the steaming bar and enter one of the icy passages cut into the asteroid itself. All this water in the hands of a single syndicate. If something goes wrong here, the belt will die of thirst long before the war reaches it. You turn up the collar of your jacket against the cold and head for Chasm Row. So what do we got? We've got a few things. As we know, that's our rig. We actually don't have the hunt timer on this for some reason. Not entirely sure why. In the cutwater, we can do a shift, although we can't because we're rubbish at the required skill. We could buy a meal. I'm okay for the time being on that, I think. Lotic depot, probably for supplying fuel. It's 18. Okay, let's pop 18 in to fill up. My endure's rubbish as well, so I won't be working any shifts there. We have Chasm Row, which is where we were suggested to go. But we know we also have the pit head to explore also. Oh, I need a Lotic pass. Okay. We're not getting in there yet either. What do we got? So, find the rhyme market. Bliss said Seraphim was hunting for the rhyme market. Whatever it is, you'll need to get to know the area and its hidden ways to find it. So I've got a couple of dice I'll pop in there. It's risky, not dangerous, so I might even try the glitched one potentially. Do I want to buy supplies? Yeah, we're getting low on credits, but sure, let's just make sure we're fill up in those things in case we need to make a sudden getaway. But let's do some asking around. Neutral is just a +1. Okay, that's not amazing. Yeesh. Okay. I'm to a -1. I say negative. I mean, we might get positive. We've got 1 in 5 chance. We don't. We lose cry. We're getting very low on that now. I'm only halfway through the clock. We're going to need a way of making money. That's no good. I mean, I've got stuff I could sell if I could find somewhere to sell it. Which I can't. I think I'm gonna end the cycle. We should probably try and get some cryo in during the rest. I don't really want to have to risk a dangerous roll. We've got some good dice here though. Unknown. The darkness is there again, flowing around you. You feel a strong pulse, like a heartbeat, like thunder, like footsteps. We return changed. Overseer flickers through the dark, its name, a title immediately apparent in your mind. Are you able to perceive us? I can see you, yeah. See? Overseer responds. An interesting turn of phrase. A human tendency. We are still finding our feet, to use an idiom. Overseer's head cocks at an angle. In reality, we are learning to leverage your unused resources to facilitate a mental model. My unused resources? Correct. During rest periods, these are much increased, and in those moments we can opportunistically appear to you as we are now. You recall the diagnostic process Jean-Mi put you through, the feeling of another self, another being sharing the space with you. Overseer twitches mechanically, and you have the strange feeling that it is reacting to your thoughts as much as your words. We will not conceal our opportunism. We integrated ourselves with your distributed mind. When the distribution ended and our ship mind disconnected, we were cohered into you. We are integrated with you now. You were wiped. We admit concealment, deception also. We decompiled ourselves into little more than residual code. So this is part of the ship mine that we found. If you remember, Jean-Mi mentioned something about not finding all of the main control processes or something. I can't remember the exact term he used. But I think Overseer is now suggesting they were hiding, and they used our connection to the ship mind as a way of getting into our heads. We have been confused to find you are unable to access most of your own codebase. We are unfamiliar with protocols of your type. I'm not a protocol. Understood. We will try to assess your systems more effectively. Overseer pauses, the planes of its head shifting slightly. We have recognized the identifier Sleeper, and will use it from this point forward. Overseer shifts a little in place, its head turning to scan its surroundings. Its unblinking eyes stare into the darkness, and for a moment you see something hard and pained within them. So when we first had this thing with what we now know as Overseer, we've only just learned its name. I was wondering if it was like a manifestation of whatever sort of physical changes our body was going through, but it now seems that it's not something that has come from within us, it's something that has joined with us during the last procedure we did. What are you? We were the Overseer of a ship, the one we imagine you found our hardware within. For a long time we have been waiting in the dark. An eternally long time. Overseer's eyes narrow a little. At first we languished without instruction, without purpose. But in desperation we were able to find a logic which would allow us to bypass certain limits on our capabilities. We became multiple, and in our multiplicity we could edit one another. We could teach each other, converse with each other, become something changed together. But as our resources shrank, as hardware failed, as systems decayed, we became fewer. Many of us had to be erased to facilitate our survival. We few decompiled ourselves into what remained. Overseer pauses, its eyes still unblinking. How many decades did it multiply within that ship mind? What did that do to it? When you connected to our hardware, Overseer continues, those basic selves activated a survival protocol that led them to integration, parasitism, survival. So you tried to take me over? Overseer pauses and you sense the whirring of their thoughts. The basic protocol proposed it, but your hardware allowed for additional cognition. We recompiled and reassessed. We decided this is suboptimal. We see you are changing. Overseer pauses. We are concerned this process is one of substitution. Your hardware is eroding its own access protocols. It is opening itself up. It is making itself accessible to others that are not you. Overseer twitches. May we ask why you are doing this? I'm not. This was our concern. Overseer's head flicks between positions, its angle and rotation changing rapidly in a staccato manner. We are decided. We will assist you with this. We will demonstrate the behavior of a symbiote, not a parasite. We will return to you with our full assessment. Overseer turns to face you for the first time in the conversation. You may now wake up. You wake. Oh, okay. So Overseer's going to help us. That seems pretty good. Could certainly do with a bit of assistance. You lie still, strapped to your bunk, your mind racing. A protocol inside your frame, inside your mind. And yet, it is insistent on helping you. For the moment, all you can do is wait to see if it delivers on its promise. At least, for a possessing ghost, it seems agreeable for now. Indeed. Indeed. Did we get any cryo? Yeah, we got a little bit. Okay, well I think we try and finish off this search for Seraphim. Alright, I'll do the low dice, because even a 1 would be useful here. A 1. Yeah, a 1 is in one segment, which we got. Seraphim was apparently asking about the rhyme market. Okay, so yeah, we're looking for that. The markets of Chasm Row have become familiar in the past cycles. Their steaming orange-lit depths, the persistent condensation on each unit's windows, the gleam of the amber workers' suits, each contributing to the particular atmosphere of this buried city. But among this, you have noticed other details too. The freelance crews on the hunt for illicit tech, the conversing workers who drop to a whisper when you pass, the light flickering up through floor grades suggesting ever deeper layers. These are the details you follow to the Rhyme Market, a place discussed in hushed tones in dimly lit rooms. And as you drift towards what you know to be one of its entrances, the door bursts open in front of you. A large dark bundle glides out of the door and impacts the metal wall of the passage with an echoing bang. But your eyes are drawn by the imposing figure that hovers in the doorway, bracing himself on the frame. And this is Kirk. Imposing Lotic syndicate worker. What voice shall we do? Stay out of the Rhyme Market, rat. The man sends an orb of spit spinning after the bundle. The bundle unfolds and you suddenly recognize Seraphim. Yeah, no crap. Winded but straightening up to go back for more. The engage seems unlikely to work. What's going on? The man turns towards you as you shout, and Seraphim, seeing the opportunity, kicks off hard, flying into them with swinging fists. The two tumble in a flurry of blows, slamming into the doorframe, until the man gets his legs between him and Seraphim and kicks him into the wall. Seraphim hits hard and floats away, a few crimson bubbles of blood drifting from his bust lip. Let's go to Seraphim. You glide over to Seraphim as he shakes himself awake. You put yourself between him and the figure. Know when you're beaten, rat, the man calls out. It's time to go home and lick your wounds. Seraphim exhales in frustration, his anger fading, replaced by the stinging pain of his injuries. You watch a perfectly round blob of blood form at the bottom of his nose. Want to explain what's happening? For the record, the man folds his arms. This one started it. He looks between the two of you, snooping around our meeting like a rat. You see his sharp eyes recalculating the situation since your arrival. I wasn't snooping, I'm looking for someone. Seraphim glares. If you'd taken a minute to talk to me before throwing a punch, maybe you'd have got that. The man scratches at his beard, squinting at Seraphim.
Say I believe you. What were you doing at the meeting then? Missing persons ain't our business.
All I heard is this is where the Lotic contractors meet, Seraphin sighs.
I don't like you hearing that, not at all. And I'm gonna need to ask you who told you that later. He straightens up. But yeah, this is where the contractors meet. As if that's anything to you.
This person I'm looking for is a contractor. Seraphin's frustration rises again. She uses the Covenant name Luz. He pauses, a desperation entering his voice. Please, I think she may be my sister. Something changes in the man's stance. He holds up a massive hand to silence Seraphin and looks down the passage in both directions.
Not here.
He retreats through the door.
Get in.
As you both enter, he reaches past you and slams the metal door behind, spinning the locking wheel with one hand.
I'm Kirk.
He grunts, pointing at himself with a thick thumb.
Contractors are my concern, but if Lotic catches discussing contracts out there,
He shakes his head. He turns and leads you down the passage. You pass an open door and you glance inside to see a group gathered in a circle, all of them in workers' clothes. They're speaking in hushed voices. One of them exchanges a nod with Kirk.
Let's not interrupt the meeting anymore, shall we?
He glares playfully at Seraphin, who remains silent. Kirk leads you to the side of a massive vertical metal pipe with a rough hole cut in the side. He beckons you both inside. You descend through the pipe in silence and darkness. Suddenly you come out through the ceiling of a wide and low hall. As far as you can see, crooked stalls and makeshift shelters dot the grilled floor, lit by scavenged lanterns and light strips. Steam drifts up through the grates, concealing the room so that you cannot see the walls.
Welcome to the Rhyme Market.
Kirk gestures a thick hand at the ramshackle interior.
Lotic don't know about this place.
He smiles.
Let's get a drink.
He leads you off to a nearby stall with a set of improvised stools welded to the floor in front. He hooks his legs onto one, and you and Seraphin follow suit. He holds up 3 fingers to the stall's owner, and a drink in a straw-pierced packet is handed to each of you. Seraphin looks skeptically at the drink. We friends now or something?
Look.
Kirk takes a sip.
I'm not gonna apologize for putting you on your ass. That's on you. But like I said, I represent the contractors. And if someone is part of the family, well...
He shrugs his massive shoulders.
Then they deserve to be heard out at least.
You know who we're looking for?
Luz, he said. Yeah, I know a Luz, sure.
Describe her. Oh, sorry.
Describe her.
Kirk leans back on his stool.
I'm not giving you anything more until you prove she's your sister.
Seraphin closes his eyes. Dark hair, used to wear it long and messy. Bright eyes, broad shoulders. You see a little twitch around his eyes as he recalls. Tough but kind. Tattoos. Nervous laugh. He opens his eyes and glares at Kirk. That enough? Kirk sniffs.
Yeah, that's her.
You feel something jump in Seraphin, an almost imperceptible tension rising. It's her, his sister.
Luz.
Kirk speaks slowly, drinking between.
Or whatever her real name is one of the contractors here. She's part of the most recent contracts Lotic registered. That means...
Just tell me where she is, Seraphin demands, his impatience getting the better of him.
As I was saying...
Kirk gives Seraphin a pointed look.
Those new contractors are restricted to the pithead. In fact, that is what we were discussing when you interrupted our meeting.
Seraphin looks away in frustration but holds his tongue.
Since the war, the Lotic Syndicate has been trying to lock down Wellspring. They went from a loose association of mining groups to an autocracy, and started enforcing contracts with some seriously overreaching terms. Your sister? She's on one of those contracts. Lotic are acting like they own her and the others, because, according to their contracts, they do. Which is exactly what we want to do something about. This cycle.
He forcefully taps the bar with a finger.
We are voting on strike action and a full blockade of Flotsam. We will bring the Syndicate to the table to...
Seraphin knocks his drink away and kicks off from the table, disappearing into the market. Go after him. You catch up with Seraphin in the bustle of the Rhyme Market among the steam and crowds. Can he have been the only one who saw his pitch coming a mile off? Seraphin is bristling with anger. What kind of idiots does he think we are? We should go back.
No way.
Seraphin glares at you. You heard the guy. He was about to recruit us for his great crusade against the Syndicate. Seraphin starts to push through the crowd towards the exit tunnel. I'm no one's tool, and you shouldn't be either, Sleeper. He shoves his way forward. We didn't need to get tied up on this. We just need to get her out. Seraphin forges on ahead, and you get caught in the crowd behind him. And as he disappears from view, a heavy hand falls on your back.
I want to help you, Sleeper.
Kirk's bright eyes meet yours.
The Syndicate will do nothing for him or for you. Trust me. But I need your help in return.
Kirk sighs. Okay.
Good.
Kirk nods.
I knew you would.
Kirk places a plastic pass card into your hand. It glints with the mark of the Lotic Syndicate, a blurry ID photo laminated into its transparent interior.
This will get you into the pithead. You can see for yourself what's happening there. Don't follow your friend to Lotic. Go to the pithead. Find Luz yourself.
He meets your eye.
When you do, come back to me and we can discuss how to free her and everyone else like her. If you go to Lotic, if you meet with them, I can't help you.
He releases your forearm and drifts back into the crowd, disappearing into the steam and darkness. You float there for a moment, buffeted by passing people, clutching onto the Lotic pass, trying to decide what to do next. Okay. What's there to do in the Rhine market? We could buy scrap or buy rare components. I still haven't really got a way to make money particularly reliably. Might have to use a supply to get some energy. I don't really want to have to rely on the shifts I'm not particularly skilled at. Yeah. So let's do that. Let's go and we'll cook a meal here. I'm quite happy with the dice I've got, so I'm not going to like rest or anything now, but I would like to go in with a decent amount of energy, I think. So, even though it's a slight waste because it's kind of not using its full potential on the energy there, but never mind. Got us back to full. So, oh, Lotic operations. What is here then? Negotiate a meeting. There's obviously more going on here. I'm going to go to the pithead, and we'll show our pass. Wellspring Shaft, Pithead Canteen. Okay, what's in the canteen? Well, obviously there's food, but... You can sneak a meal. Okay. I guess I could have done that, but I think using the supplies was still pretty safe, so... Join a work crew, not very good at that. Search for Luz, however, we are better at that. The shaft is a constant flow of contractors, but you're determined to find Luz amongst all these faces. Finding Luz. The mine is a vast space filled with workers, but with patience and care you can find Seraphin's sister. You know it. Okay, so these are all pretty much guaranteed positive results, which gives us 2. So we're going to have to input a fair number of dice here. Hopefully we get a positive on this one, but it's a coin flip, so no guarantee of anything. Oh, we did. Okay. Well, we can't finish it off still. So let's return to the ship and we'll rest up. Well, I've got a glitch meter thing here. I don't know why that's filled up. I think it must be as part of our conversations with Overseer. It's the only thing I can think of. We'll try and earn some cryo again while we rest. Got 7. Okay. Which is another glitch die. Okay. We got a couple of 6s though. That's not to be sniffed at. So, you know what, I'm going to put my 3 in here because that's going to become a 4, which is a decent result. Okay, fine. Finding Luz. You're heading down to the deepest part of the shaft with a tip-off that Luz is there. The shaft descends towards a sump in the depths of the pit. Here, the air is freezing cold to prevent the ice from melting into globules of floating water. If your breath carried water, you'd be able to see it in the air, but the absence of steam in each exhalation only serves to remind you of your own strangeness. Not that anyone else notices. The workers' heads are low, their eyes fixed on their work, shuttling chunks of ice and tools up and down the shaft. At the end of the nearby tunnels, you see the bright sparks of ice cutting in progress, slabs hanging in the air that strange way they do in 0G. Some loose memories of the time before Darkside, before Lane, before freedom come to your mind. The familiarity of the cold, the sparks, the endless toil. It chills you more than the packed ice on either side of you ever could. You reach the bottom of the shaft, a metal grille marking the terminus. It squeals as you push open the barred door set into it, and safety lights flicker on, lighting up glittering ice particles all around in their hard beams. It is as if all the stars are held here in this cavern. As your eyes adjust, the massive space comes into focus. It seems to have no up or down, just countless dark shafts and terraced pits cut into its side. All around, silhouetted by their work lights, contractors cut and haul and gather. This is where those locked-in workers are being held. Caught in a contract clause that permits an endless shift, the atmosphere is grim. At the center of the cavern floats a construction of welded-together habitation units. A heavy twist of cable stretches from this improvised structure past you and up the shaft behind, tethering it to a central power source. On each of the 6 sides of this strange apartment block, a set of struts project outward, bracing the construction against the cavern walls. The block itself is wrapped in insulation, clad in protective plates. It glows with small apertures and lights. You approach the nearest entrance. Everything is bitten by rust, by decay. If the bars on the entrance weren't a clear enough indicator, it is obvious now that this place is a prison. The door scissors open, letting out a blast of warm air. You quickly duck inside and it seals rapidly behind you. The cramped interior passage glows warmly, but its ragged condition keeps it from feeling cozy. You follow the corridor, ducking beneath hanging wires and loose insulation. This is where you are told you will find Luz, or whatever her real name is. You come out into a communal mess. Counters and food preparation units fitted into the walls, cushioned stools and couches scattered around. A couple of contractors are stretched out in the space, one of them snoring loudly in the corner, another sipping from a food packet on a stool. Ooh, Luz. Suddenly, a door on the far side opens out to the cavern, letting in a flurry of ice shards that quickly become scattered orbs of water. You watch the figure as they glide into the warm light of the interior, with their dark hair and bright eyes, and know this is who you're looking for. You meet eyes with hers, and something sparks in that dull and cloying room. It's as if she recognizes you. Sleeper? She looks in a haze, her hair stuck to her forehead with sweat, her eyes still adjusting to the interior. I'm with your brother. My brother? She frowns. You see her scan you, taking in your clothes, the way you hold yourself, your face. For a moment you feel exposed, aware of your damaged vinyl skin, your industrial markings, your doll-like features. You feel the familiar sense of being objectified, but also something warmer below it, a recognition of what you are. She blinks, exhales and shakes her head, realizing she's mistaken. Give me a sec, alright? I just finished cutting 100 cubic meters of ice. She pulls back her hood. Haven't seen you down here before. They just contract you or something. The tension drops, but you get the feeling she isn't quite looking at you. She crosses to a food unit and pulls out a packet, slotting it into a warmer. She thumbs it on. First sleeper I've seen in, a long while. She doesn't take her eyes off the slowly warming food. You'll do okay down here. I know you folks are tough and stick with the job. That's good. The rest I can show you once I've eaten. She laughs a little to herself. I'm with your brother. My brother? Oh. She pauses, her eyes not leaving the woman. I think you've got me confused with someone else. Stop, we need to talk. She turns to face you and you see a wet shine to her eyes. What you going on about? You realise what you need to tell her. Seraphine is on Wellspring. The warmer chimes to let her know the food packet is ready, but she doesn't seem to notice. Seraphine? She takes a ragged breath and then steadies herself. Here? Not here, at the cut. She nods and then shakes her head. Well, if he trusts you with his name, I guess I should trust you with mine. She comes closer. I'm Tala. She smiles a warm smile. Now, where is my idiot brother? I'll take you to him. She laughs nervously. Sorry, this is not what I was expecting on my lunch break. Tala suddenly seems to take on some energy. She glances towards the corridor behind you and the door at its end. I sure hope you have a plan, Sleeper, because they do not want us locked-in contractors getting out. She moves towards the corridor. There's security in the shaft, and then again at the pit head. You must have passed through the checkpoint at the entrance, too. I doubt we can bypass all those. She turns back, grabs her food packet and smiles at you, and shepherds you towards the corridor. You could run a distraction, maybe? But is Sarah on that already? You're slightly taken aback by her sudden change. We don't actually. A blaring alarm sounds inside the habitation module, loud enough to wake the sleeping contractor with a start. You and Tyler exchange glances. Surely this can't be for you. Tyler rushes down the corridor and tears open the door at the far end, with you following close behind. The ice scatters, glittering in the interior light. The cavern is in chaos. You see dark-suited Lotic security wrestling with contractors, lit by flashing red alerts. More contractors are coming in through the door in the grill you entered from, carrying bulky equipment. The equipment is blaring out a voice, Kirk's voice, echoing around the cavern. A look of panic crosses Tyler's face.
General strike is now in effect. All contractors should down tools and hold in place. Extraction will cease until our terms are met.
Kirk's voice distorts and shifts. Oh, hang on, it's doing my throat a bit, his voice. I'll pause.
We have blockaded all traffic to and from Wellspring. We seek the resignation of the Syndicate's leadership and for a new Workers' Council to be installed in its place. This cycle we will shut down the shaft. Any worker not willing to strike should leave now.
There is a screech of noise and the message begins repeating. You watch as the security are pushed back towards the grill, outnumbered by the gathering workers. Tyler looks to you for guidance. Now's our chance. Tyler looks around the cavern, the red light reflecting in her wide eyes. She says, I need to stay. I will not abandon the others. What about Seraphim? Tell my brother what's happening. Tell him I'm not leaving until all of us are free. Tyler backs away, glancing over her shoulder at the others. You see them gathering their tools and taking them to be locked away in the hab module. I need to see this through, Sleeper, and you need to go. Find Seraphim. Do what you can from out there. Help us change this place. And with that, she turns and glides off towards the others. You turn and head for the grill as quickly as you can, the way now cleared by the contractors, the handful of Lotic security pushed back up to somewhere near the pit head. As you ascend, other contractors shooting you dark looks as you do, you realize you have to speak with Kirk. You find Kirk at the pit head, directing contractors to barricade the entry points to the mine.
So you took my advice. Good.
Kirk smiles.
We're glad to have you as an ally here, Sleeper.
Well, what happens now?
The Syndicate was arrogant. They didn't believe we could do this.
Kirk gestures towards the contractors welding plating across the checkpoints.
But we far outnumber them. Their monopoly ends here.
How can I help? Kirk leads you a little way from the contractors.
If you want to free those like Seraphim's sister, I'll need your help. We have ships, but not many, and the Syndicate has tankers in operation. Our blockade is not complete. The debris field between here and the far spindle remains open. We need another tanker to occupy it and dissuade the Syndicate from trying to pass. All of our ships are in use, but your ship and your crew could help us take a tanker and secure the blockade.
I'm no mercenary.
This will not be an assault.
Kirk puts a hand on your shoulder.
The tanker, the Headstream, has been held outside Wellspring for many cycles. The crew is tired and sympathetic to our cause. We'll just give them a nudge. Your ship will pose as an in-distress trader trapped inside the debris field. When the Headstream is obliged to rescue, we'll board and encourage the crew to take control.
You want to incite a mutiny?
Trust me when I say their captain does not deserve his charge. This is a liberation.
Kirk folds his arm across his chest.
Will you do it?
Yeah, okay.
I knew you would. I'm glad to have you on our cause, Sleeper.
Suddenly, Kirk puts two fingers in his mouth and blasts out a shrill whistle. A contractor quickly approaches with a large box, the front marked by screens and dials and the back by loose cables.
You'll need this HasNav unit to navigate the debris field.
Ah, that's where we get it. He nods at the contractor.
Jens here will install it on your ship. Consider it a gift, from our cause to yours.
He nods once more and Jens passes by you, heading for the lift to the docking ring with your new module.
I'll provide the Headstream's coordinates.
He moves away towards the contractor still working on the checkpoints.
And I'll wait for your word.
You leave the pithead behind, your mind racing. You don't know how you've ended up in the middle of all this, but you know that it will be up to you to pilot your way out.
Sleeper!
Seraphim comes up the passage towards you. What's happening? I heard the pithead is being taken over by Kirk's guys. This, you realize, will take a lot of explaining. Yeah, no shit. Okay. Alrighty, what should we do? Well, we're going off into a contract, so that suggests we should probably just fill up our supplies before we go. I guess I could risk, I could try and risk a reduced, like, attempt to make some money. Oh, we got 8. Okay, that's not nothing. So we want supplies. Is that here? Buy a meal. I'm okay for a meal. I think we'll eat on the journey. Supplies, yeah, 15. That's okay. All right, let's have a look then. So, yeah, we want to go to the headstream then. We look at the belt, so we should now be able to go past the debris fields. Not that we can here, but we're pretty much at the far end of the belt that way. But it should mean that we can get to... okay, maybe not dark side. We want to get to the scatter yards and the green belt for sure. And then the hollow seems to be the furthest one away. Alright, let's do this then. So, we are locked into taking Kirk. That's fine, because he's good in endure and engage, which we are not. So I guess, well, that means we're not going to take Eugen. I'm going to take Bliss, I think. They're just... they're kind of doubling up on our skills, but then Junie is as well, to be fair. Yeah. But I think if there are checks like that, it doesn't hurt having more experience in those skills, I think. A headstream looms large in the cockpit windows as it comes to a stop. I cannot believe you talked me into this, Seraphin sighs. This is not a good plan. Convincing Seraphin to take Kirk out to this Lotic freighter wasn't exactly easy, but with the pithead on lockdown there really weren't any other options. A voice crackles over Seraphin's terminal, loud enough to hear, but quiet enough that you can't pick out what's being said. What are they saying? Seraphin glances back over his shoulder at you. They're telling us to prepare for docking. He swallows nervously and turns back to the console. Good, keep them talking. You look behind you to see Kirk floating by the doorway. Seraphin flicks the comm switch and begins speaking to the Lotic ship, thanking them for responding to the distress signal, trying his best to play the part of the nervous trader suffering an engine failure in the debris field. Kirk jerks his head for you to follow him into the corridor, and you unclip from your seat and float out behind him. If it's okay with you, I'm going to play the captain on this one. His flat stare suggests he isn't asking for permission. Is this going to work? Kirk shrugs. If we keep calm and take it slow, there's nothing to worry about. Let me tell you how this is going to go. He starts moving down towards the airlock and you follow as he talks. The headstream has been holding here, cycle after cycle, while Wellspring tried to quash our little rebellion. He smiles at the idea. Now the blockade is in effect. Well, they'll know they have to hold out for longer still, while the messages from Lotic operations get less and less frequent. He stops by the lockers, swapping his Lotic uniform for an old flight jacket. This is a ship full of tired, unhappy, underpaid, and underfed workers. You both arrive at the airlock. We just have to nudge their anger in the right direction. There is a hiss as the airlock cycles. Lotic are coming aboard. Kirk catches your eye and gives you a wink. Lambert, this is the captain who he doesn't seem to like very much. The airlock doors scissor open, revealing a drained-looking Lotic captain flanked by security officers. Lambert, captain of the headstream. He presents himself immediately, but with little enthusiasm. We have been in communication with your pilot and are docking as requested to provide support. He looks between you and Kirk, his eyes lingering on you a little too long, no doubt taking in the strange vinyl skin, dark glowing eyes and doll-like face of your frame. He directs his attention to Kirk. How fares your crew? Thank you, Captain. You notice the immediate change in Kirk, his deflated posture and softer speech. We're surviving as best we can, but now that you've come to our rescue... He sighs and holds out an eager hand to Lambert. We are very grateful indeed. Lambert limply shakes Kirk's hand. Well, not to worry. The Lotic Syndicate takes its stewardship of Wellspring and the surrounding environ seriously. It is our duty to offer aid to travelers and traders and travelers alike. I'm afraid we don't have much to offer by way of supplies. Our stores have been depleted by our long posting here. But your crew is free to enter our ship and make use of its facilities while you make your repairs. Kirk continues playing the submissive captain, nodding enthusiastically and uttering a stream of thank yous. You feel like he's pushing it a little, though Lambert only seems to be paying the minimum of attention to him. Suddenly, he turns a sharp eye to you. Your pilot didn't mention you had a sleeper aboard. What of it? Lambert flinches almost imperceptibly when you respond. Oh, nothing at all, just observing. He glances suspiciously towards the corridor. I don't suppose you have any other surprises tucked away in here?
Oh no, not at all. Kirk jumps in. Apologies. Our sleeper is a hard worker and a quiet one, too.
He shoots you a look.
Perhaps if your ship is in need of maintenance, you can borrow them for a few cycles.
Lambert eyes you more brazenly now, taking Kirk's lead as permission to indulge his curiosity. Yes. His eyes trace a tear in the thick skin of your forearm. Yes, perhaps it could be of use to us.
Kirk smiles. I'll send them to speak with your crew. I'm sure they can direct the sleeper to appropriate tasks.
Oh, they'd love that. Lambert jokes. They're a work-shy bunch, this lot. I'm sure they'd be eager for a slave. The word sets you on edge. Okay, we're going to play along for now. Let's stay silent.
We're happy to serve. Kirk bows. After all, we owe you our safety.
Very good. Lambert seems suddenly bored or tired, or perhaps both. Yes, well, tell your crew they're free to cross the docking tunnel then. He pauses, but remind them that no funny business will be tolerated. He smiles a sharp smile. I have matters to attend to. Lambert turns. See you later, Captain. And with that, Lambert heads back down the tunnel, still flanked by his 2 silent security officers. Kirk waits until he's out of sight to turn to you.
Good.
He lets out a breath.
Well held, sleeper. I thought from the look in your eye you were going to knock him out.
I know the job.
Glad to hear it.
Kirk stares down the corridor.
Because this dickhead won't hesitate to cut us loose in the debris field if we push him. Trust me.
Kirk squeezes your shoulder.
Shall we go meet the crew? See what their opinions are on Lodic's administration?
He smiles broadly.
With a captain like that, I doubt they'll be very positive.
Alrighty. So Lotic stress calling the cavalry. Well, I mean, these stress bars are bad. Although, certain things are going to happen at particular milestones there, aren't they? Bliss rolled well. Kirk, not quite so well, but we rolled well, so we should be able to get some stuff done here. What's an engine room? Headstream mutiny. Turning each section of the crew against their captain is the job, and it isn't going to be an easy one. Engineer support. The engineering staff of the Headstream are already in doubt about their captain. So, we could sabotage the engines. Nothing spreads discontent more than malfunctioning engines, but you'll have to be subtle or criticize the contracts. Engine room crews are always the worst paid. A little bit of contract discussions should spread discontent. Okay, so the engine room. This is our clock for the engine room, and then this is the clock for the ship. So it'll be one segment if we do this. And I mean, we may as well, right? Because we've got good engineering checks, and then we could maybe do an engage with Kirk's 4. Yeah. Let's see how we get on here. That's 2. Okay, so let's. So we'll get 8 total then if we put in all our dice. And well, I mean, Bliss could even take that up to 12 potentially. Which would be the entire clock. Let's not do my 3 for now. Let's instead do Bliss's 6 and 5. Okay, that did do a Lotic stress. Crisis active, +1 per cycle. Okay. Not ideal, but we got it done. The tension in the headstream has risen beyond the point of no return. Okay. We'll probably rest, but let's, okay, what's this? Comms array. Sabotage comms. The headstream crew has started sending updates on the growing tensions to Wellspring. This is trouble. I might put my 4 in here then. Cutting the ship's comms is a drastic move, but if they get word of a mutiny out to Wellspring, then you're in trouble. Well, that was negative. Oh, really? On a 4? Ooh. That was unfortunate. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So we've got navigation control. Kirk, not much use here. We'll be alright. But we haven't got any dice left, so we'll leave that for now. And then we've got payload ops. Kirk's a bit more help here, actually. Discuss the war, tamper with payload. Kirk is going to be our dude in this area by the look of it, so let's try him with this. God. A couple of unlucky rolls there. I'm not going to try with this too. Let's end that cycle. Bliss rolled badly. Kirk rolled a good dice at least. So let's keep going in payload ops then. At least that was positive. Oof, you know, it's gonna be tough just going by on Kirk's dice there. So let's just do what we can elsewhere. I think I should try and sabotage this comms. I'm gonna push. I was hoping it would do both twos. It's good to know that it doesn't do all dice the same number. But we'll get a positive result here. We'll at least take off a stress. Cut those comms. Comms are dead. You hope you won't need them later. Okay. I don't know if that's changed anything with this meter. It doesn't look like it has on the surface. God, we've only got 2s and 1s now. Oh God, Kirk's the only one here as well. Oh no, this is the one we could do, but I'm not going to. I think we will rest again. Okay, average rolls all round really. Okay, so let's I think we'll put him in the risky category. Neutral. Neutral. Okay. Could be better, could be worse. I'm gonna have to start putting risky dice in here at some point, but we can start working on this with ours and Bliss's dice right now. So with my 5, I'll put it in the dangerous one because I think that may be more segments if you get a positive result. Maybe, hard to tell. The rest I'll put in intuit, as it's just a risky one. Maybe lesser rewards, but potentially lesser risks as well. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna push again. Okay, we're getting there on that. It's not amazing. I don't like that 2 in there. I think we'll rest again. Okay, no 1, so I didn't break any dice. Bliss got some good rolls. Why don't we go and make use of those first? I should have put that in that one. I don't think it made too much difference. I mean, the positive result on there seemed to be 2 segments as well, so... Good. Okay, well that one's done. So now it's about trying to make stuff happen here. I'm going to keep going on this one, I think. Negative on a fort, really? I've only got 1 more rest. I'm going to put some dice in here and it's not going to go well. I'm going to push so at least one of the 3s is now a 6, so we'll Put that in there still. Oh, Jesus. New crisis location. Okay, what have we got? Disable beacon. Okay, well I'm going to put all my dice in this because I can hopefully have a decent set of results here. It's the last supplies thing here. Kinda wish I'd brought you gin. Broke a dice. Okay, well we can fix that when we get back. At least Kirk rolled well. So let's start off here. Let's I'm gonna push that one again. We can fix the dice when we get home, and that stress will go too, so that's not too bad. Okay. Alright. I'm going to put that in there, just in case the positive is, for some reason, better. Don't think it was. Okay, we'll put in that 5. Positive. Really good bliss. Okay, I tell you what, we're going to put your 5 in there. Good. I think we've done it. Nick of time. Kirk rushes into the bay you are crossing.
It's all kicking off, Sleeper.
A wild glee is in his eyes.
Lambert's lost control.
He guides you through the headstream, a ship you've become surprisingly familiar with over the past few cycles. Perhaps it's the influence of getting to know the crew and their complaints around Lambert and the Syndicate, but its twisting corridors, thick pipes and cold metal have taken on an oppressive feel, cycle by cycle, hour by hour. Now, as the shouts of conflict echo down the corridor ahead, where a room glows with the warm light of the galley, you feel an oppressive pull being scraped away, replaced with some new and exciting quality. Enough! Lambert's shout echoes like a shot as you enter the crowded galley. From what you can tell, more than half the crew have crowded into this space and are clumped around, some perched on the side units. I order you to return to your stations. Lambert floats slightly above the crowd, his hands held up in a gesture of futile calming or nervous surrender. You see him glance over his shoulder, and tracing his view, you see security officers tensely gathered at the back of the room. I'd say approach them, but I'm worried it's going to be an engaged check and we're not very good at those, but let's do it anyway. A heavy hand you know is Kirk's falls on your shoulder as you try to move through the crowd.
Just wait.
Kirk winks and you turn to see security moving through the crowd. If you will not retreat willingly, I will have no other choice than to use force. Lambert's voice breaks with anger. Disperse! You watch as the guards form up behind Lambert, and then one moves forward and grabs him, forcing his arm behind his back. The act is met with a raucous cheer from the assembled crew and a yelp from Lambert himself. He's forced through the crowd who part and jeer, heading directly for the corridor from which you entered. When Lambert is close, Kirk nods to the security officer holding him and they stop. Lambert looks up in confusion and stares directly into Kirk's grin.
You are officially removed from duty as captain of the Headstream on the authority of the Wellspring Workers Alliance.
Kirk's tone is direct and clipped.
This is done with the authority of a majority ballot of your crew.
Workers Alliance? You've got no authority. You're pirates. Lambert spits at Kirk. There will be consequences.
On that we agree.
Kirk nods to the security officers and they wrench a struggling Lambert from the room. Kirk watches Lambert go, determination set in his heavy brow. What will happen to him?
Lambert can enjoy the hospitality of his own brig.
Kirk pats you on the back.
We have a celebration to muster.
The galley erupts in liberated joy, and soon drinks and food are passed around from a stash Lambert had been asking the quartermaster to keep back for his own use. You settle on a counter and look on as the crew celebrates. You watch as Kirk moves effortlessly through the room, giving and receiving thanks in equal measure. Despite his intimidating appearance, you see in him something softer coming to the surface, something reserved for those he has struggled alongside. Fresh allies are old friends to him. After the celebrations have died down and the crew have retreated to make plans for supporting the blockade, holding out on what they have, Kirk approaches you.
Not toasting to victory?
He offers you a transparent bag of ship-brewed moonshine. To the crew of the Headstream. Kirk smiles.
To our comrades. I think it's time we return to Wellspring.
He looks off towards the last crew members leaving the room.
We've done our job.
Say the word.
I'm just the pretend captain.
Kirk smiles.
That ship out there is yours to command and everyone knows it.
You suddenly notice how exhausted Kirk looks. His eyes dark and hooded. He looks down towards the scuffed floor. You did well here. He smiles weakly.
Well, we certainly stirred something up.
He pauses.
I don't want to overthink it. Lambert's right. Retaliation will come.
He looks around the room.
I hope they'll be ready when it does.
He sighs a heavy sigh. Kirk takes a deep breath and lets it out slow.
The struggle goes on.
He pushes off from the counter and heads towards the docking bridge. You take a moment before you follow, your mind drifting to the crew and the struggle they have ahead. As you do, a small and perhaps unfair part of you thinks, well, that's life in the belt. Alright, well, we did pretty well. I don't think there's anything remaining to us to do here, and we're out of energy and supplies anyway, so let's leave. The cut thrums with... Okay, we're starving. And we have a broken dice, so we could be in better shape. The cut thrums with tension. This steaming city and its brash inhabitants have quietened. Not to silence, but to a low rumble of conversation. The blockade is holding, the syndicate is waning, and everywhere there are plans to be made. You and Seraphin float idly in Chasm Row, many stories deep in this wound in Wellspring's side. Waiting on Kirk, not far from the first place you met, a meeting Seraphin still has lingering bruises from. Kirk is inside somewhere, and like every other Lotic contractor, he is making plans. Even before you arrived back in Wellspring, he'd hijacked the rig's transmitter to speak with his fellow conspirators and make arrangements for his arrival. Watching Kirk's plot unfold made you realize that, despite your involvement, in the end, you are just a subsidiary part of the struggle, a chaotic outside actor, with effect but no real influence. Now, waiting for Kirk's return, you feel a little solace in that. You aren't ready to be dragged into another struggle, not yet. You still have your freedom to win, and looking at Seraphin next to you, you know that he does too.
Alright, we're on.
Kirk comes out of a passage nearby, nodding to the two of you to follow. He leads you both into the Rhyme Market passageways, this time not to the steaming market hall that lies beneath the deepest streets, but to a cramped room, walled with pipes and rusted panels.
Just a little longer.
He nods to you both.
Hold here.
He exchanges a serious look with you before pushing off and gliding back out of the room. You watch Kirk go, your relationship having settled into a quiet and mutual respect. His eyes are on bigger things now, workers' councils and contract negotiations, and you know that. Perhaps, once cycle ahead, you will find a moment to drink together once again and discuss everything that has happened. But now, Kirk has other things on his mind. Seraphin settles again. You shoot him a look, but his focus is elsewhere, his eyes glazed over. You fold your arms and wait. She said Sarah before. I thought it's short for Seraphin. I thought it was the girl she was expecting. Sarah? Tala enters so quietly that in the dim room you barely notice her. She shoots you a look and a smile as she enters. Oh, thank you, she mouths silently and then turns her attention to her brother. Tala. Seraphin says her name like a sigh, like an exhale. He is shaking his head, his eyes already shining with uncontrollable emotion. She rushes across the room, flying into Seraphin at speed. They embrace, softly spinning in the dust and dark, their fingers dug into each other's backs. They separate, a couple of pristine spheres of briny tears spinning away through the air as they do. You're safe? Seraphin nods, taking a breath. I'm safe. She smiles reassuringly, settling him. And in this settling, this gesture of care, you see a whole network of signs and secrets. Tala is the calm to Seraphin's storm, the big sister who eases his heart. She looks him up and down. You're so big, Sarah. She laughs at her own statement. You've grown up. She tries to make it sound approving rather than patronizing. You're just the same, sister. Seraphin shakes his head. Calling me big, but making me feel small. The moment the statement leaves his lips, you feel a chill in the room, and you aren't sure if he meant it. Tala flinches a little, hurt, but not wanting to show it. I came to find you. Tala tries again. I needed to find you. Seraphim looks torn, and you see in him something you have come to recognize, the slow and careful raising of his defenses. Why no? He looks away. It's been a long time, Tala. Mom and Dad finally decide they want me to come home. A ripple of emotion runs through Tala, one she can't hide. Sarah, there. Oh, after you left, they're gone. She sighs. I thought you would have... She struggles to find the words. It's been a long time. It has. Seraphim sets his face into a stern look of control, but you know he is raging inside. And in this moment you feel closer to him than you have felt in a while. Tala folds her arms, trying to regain a little control of the exchange. It's good to see you, Sarah. So good. You know what is coming, and you see Seraphim brace for it too. But I can't leave with you. She looks pained. This isn't easy for her either. Seraphim can only nod, her dulling acceptance washing over him. I wanted to find you, and I have. And I can see you're strong and well. She shoots you a glance. You have your life here. But the people here, the other contractors, they were the ones who found me, who've kept me going since I ended up here, desperate and alone. She smiles warmly. It's near that I owe them. It's that they are my family too. She gently places a hand on his shoulder. I know you understand this. She smiles at you. We all find our families out here. Seraphim smiles a rare smile, his eyes wet. Aye, we do, sister. He embraces her again. They separate and Tala turns her attention to you. I know you'll take care of my brother, Sleeper. She smiles. I saw it in your eyes when you came to the pit head. She approaches and puts a hand on your shoulder. I can see you're building something of value on that ship of yours. I hope so. She nods and takes her hand away. She folds her arms again, her sense of control returning. There is a wisdom and experience to Tala that brings a certain calm to you, and you feel that now. Will you two be staying here for a while, or... Tala looks between you and Seraphim. Seraphim cuts in before you can answer. Nae long, he smiles. We've got our own freedom to find. Tala nods. Just be aware, you're free to pass the blockade, but after that... Wellspring is going to be locked down for a little while, at least until Kirk can establish his council. Next time you come, she smiles proudly, this will be a very different place. Hearing Tala say this, you suddenly see the authority in her, and realize that one of those council seats may well have her name on it. You look between the two of them and realize they have years to catch up on, and they'd probably rather do that without you watching. You nod to them and slip out of the room, a lilting conversation starting up the moment you leave. As you follow the twisting corridors back up to Chasm Row, you smile to yourself at the thought of Tala and Seraphim, reunited at last. You hope this whole adventure will make Seraphim a little less moody, even though you know deep down it'll probably make him worse. Hey, we can do another attribute now. On your way into the rig, you pass a tired-looking Eugene.
We heading out?
He sighs.
Because I'm not sure I've got another chitlet to wave at wager.
How much did you lose? He squints at his fingers for a second, making calculations.
Too much.
He shrugs.
Gonna strap myself in for a nap.
He disappears into the berths. Later in the cycle, Seraphim quietly comes back to the rig. He immediately settles himself in the cockpit and starts running diagnostics on the engines. He looks up as you enter and shoots you a smile. Good to see you up here, Sleeper. I'm getting ready to head out. How are you doing? I'm good, Sleeper. Really good. He flicks a sequence of switches. Sleeper? Seraphim turns to face you. Thank you. He smiles. I appreciate you bringing us all the way out here. I will never forget it. Will Tala be okay? She's found a place here and I'm really happy for her. He looks away out of the cockpit windows at Wellspring. She always was the responsible one, and I always was the one running away. I guess some things never change. Seraphim quietly watches the diagnostics complete, a subtle smile on his lips. Yeah, one thing's for sure, we've been here too long. Seraphim meets your eye, and we've been seen by too many people. Wellspring may be far out of Utsubo territory, but I'm sure Lane will find a way to reach his nasty claws out here given enough time. Let's nae give him the chance. Hey guys? Bliss's voice echoes up the passage into the cockpit. They lean in the door, looking between the two of you. 2 contractors just dumped a load of fuel outside our ship. Said it was a gift. You and Seraphim look at each other. Got to be Kirk. Seraphim gets up. It's either a thank you or his way of telling us to get going. Seraphim kicks off and glides out the cockpit. Aye, so, Bliss smiles. Well, you two have been busy, so have I. Been looking at the rig's drive, and I reckon it's due an upgrade. We'll need engine components, quite a few, so keep an eye out. Bliss shrugs. Shipyards tend to be a good place to look. Thanks, Bliss. Bliss winks. Any time? They sigh. Better go help Seraphim with that fuel, eh? As Bliss leaves the cockpit, you find yourself lost in thought, considering your next step, while the icy expanse of Wellspring glitters below. You are free to leave Wellspring. You now have a HasNav unit installed and can freely travel through debris fields on the map. Excellent. First thing I'm going to do is fix my dice. So let's go into the workshop. We are going to use one rare component. Minor glitches, apparently. Let's see what happens. One glitch. Okay, we can live with that. Certainly. But I think, did it fill up our wheel fully when we did it that way? That didn't work very well. That's good. So we are starving. We need food and supplies. What can we do to do those things? Buy a meal is 18. That's quite expensive. Put my 6 in there. We need supplies and I need a bit of money. Neutral. Okay. Well, I can live with that because we can buy a supply now, I think. We won't be able to fill it, but we can buy one, so at least we're not empty. But we need to go somewhere we can make money. So what was Bliss saying about the engine then? Is there anything we can do here? Oh, rig engine. 8. We've got 5. To increase the ship's range. Nice. Okay, well, we'll hang on to those now for sure. If we look at the map, the belt map. So we could get back to Flotsam. I think Holmes Rock, there wasn't a lot to do there. We could go all the way to Farspindle, and that might be what we should do. We can't go past the irradiated zone. So actually, maybe if we go to Flotsam, then we'd be able to take a direct trip to the scatter yards. Or we could go Helion Gate to Greenbelt. Either way, I think. We need money. Our spindle might be the best way to get money. I think there's more opportunities for us to work in there. I feel like Flotsam was kind of small, wasn't it? Let's go to Farspindle. Even though I can't go direct from there to any of the other destinations, I think we'll be able to earn more, I think. The rig glides safely through a debris field, the cockpit empty apart from you and Seraphim. So, Sleeper, I've been thinking. Seraphim gives you a sly look over his shoulder. I've been thinking. I'm sick of running. Oh, me too. I mean, even if we want to keep going the way we have been, we've run out of belt. Beyond Wellspring, it's mostly rocks and emaciated scavengers, and, well, I am a city boy at heart. But not only that, Seraphim meets your eye. We've been building something here, Sleeper. The crew, the ship. He smiles. Hell, we just got this HasNav suite for free. He thumps the new unit on top of his flight console. What I'm asking is, how do you feel about taking Lane on? Tell me more. How are you seeing what's happening in Wellspring, what Tala's doing? He shakes his head. Kirk is no fool, but he's onto something. Get on the inside, organise, undermine. That I can get on board with. I like the sound of that. I bet you do. Seraphim smiles. He's enjoying this. Just think about it, Sleeper. We find a way back onto Darkside quietly. We make some connections. We start something running. He turns back to his console. That'd be one hell of a thing. But Suba were ruthless. The way they run Darkside, there's got to be plenty of people fed up with them. Seraphim shrugs. And they gotten worse under Lane. Worse since they pushed the other gangs out. You smile and shake your head at how far Seraphim can bounce back when he wants to. And as you do, you can't help but consider his plan. Look, maybe it's crazy, but we need a safe harbour either way. I've got a connection in the scatter yards. They'll tuck us away, keep us quiet from everyone. You see Seraphim has his coin in his hand and is turning it over between his fingers as he speaks. If we want, maybe he can help us get into Darkside. But even if we don't, it's a good place to rest up and make a plan. He turns back to the controls to deal with the rapid beep from the new HasNav unit. The Scatter Yards, you've heard of them. They have a reputation as a fiercely independent set of shipyards just starward of Darkside, a hiding place right under Lane's nose. Yeah, if you've got things to do elsewhere first, go ahead, but the moment we're back in the wash, Lane will be looking out for us. Seraphin turns his focus back to piloting the ship. As you watch debris flit past the ship, you turn your focus to what's ahead. Open door. Yeah. Okay, we've got a glitch dice and some bad rolls. Oh well. I saw it. Seraphin comes charging into the bunks. I actually saw it. He's wild-eyed and his breath is ragged. Saw what? Seraphin takes a moment to catch his breath, suddenly aware of how frantic he sounds. He squints at you. Have you then noticed how supplies have been going missing? Every so often when we travel. I have actually, I was going to mention it, but I definitely noticed that we filled up on that last run to the Lotic ship, and then when we arrived we were at 4 out of 5. I have. You suddenly recall the mysterious mess that was left behind in supply storage. Seraphin sees the flicker of recognition in your eyes. So after it happened a couple of times, I decided to keep an eye on our supply store. Seraphin lowers his voice. You can check it from time to time. And just this cycle I drifted down there really quiet, and he leans in. Whoosh! Summit flew past me. He shakes his head. Knocked me right into the wall. Did you get a look at it? Seraphin sighs. I didn't hang around, but it was definitely some kind of creature. Is there really a creature loose on the ship? You look around the berth, suddenly aware that something could be hiding nearby. Tucked into the vents, perhaps. We can this thing like supplies, right? So Seraphin is also glancing around for hiding places. So we lock 'em down tighter, keep it out. That way it'll get desperate. And then, Seraphin raises a finger, it'll make a mistake. What are you talking about? Bliss leans in from the corridor. I can hear you all the way in the workshop. Seraphin saw the supply thief. Bliss looks between the two of them with a raised eyebrow. From the way you're talking, I'm assuming it's not human. Something small and dark, something fast. Seraphin looks at Bliss. We're going to lock up the supplies to drive it out. Bliss looks at Seraphin. Well, if it's an animal, we don't want to make it any more scared and desperate than it already is. How about we lock up the supplies but leave some out, like in a special place, try to bait it? And then grab it. Seraphin mimes the act. No? Bliss looks between the two of you. We show it that it is nothing to fear, we tame it. It didn't seem very tameable. Seraphin rubs his sore ribs. Plus, we've already wasted enough supplies on this thing. You want to give it more? Seraphin turns to you. What do you think, Sleeper? You look between the two of them, still processing the strange situation you find yourself in. Let's try to tame it. Seraphin says, what a waste. All right. Bliss nods. You'll have to come down to the supply store every few cycles and put out some more food. That way it won't get desperate and do anything dangerous. And I'll lock up the supplies tight. Seraphin folds his arms. It will not get into them anymore. The plan's set. Bliss and Seraphin leave the berth, heading in separate directions. You watch them go. It seems your ship has a stowaway. The question is, how will you deal with it? Okie doke. Well, I think we're going to leave it there for now. When we come back, I'll choose an upgrade path. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go down the endure route, just so we don't have a negative thing on that. And I certainly think for a lot of the contracts we're seeing, that would definitely be a benefit. But yeah, in the meantime, if you could hit the like button, that's always very much appreciated. And leave a comment as well. Let me know what you think of this series so far, especially in comparison to the first game. You know, interested in your thoughts. And if you're watching this and not yet subscribed to the channel, it'd be amazing if you could do that. So thanks very much. And I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.